Okay. So in the last class, we have discussed the set interface, which is available in the collections framework of the Java, right? Today, we will discuss about the map interface, and we'll move to the next one is generic classes and generic methods. Now, let me share my screen. Yeah. Visible to everyone? Is it visible or not? Okay, right. So, as the way the set is organized, uh, similarly, the map is also an interface uh, which maps a key to the values. A key to the values. So you might have studied hashing in data structures, okay, where uh, you need to define a mapping function or hash. Whatever the output that the hash function will be generated is used as a key, and the value will be automatically mapped to that key. So in the similar way, here also the map interface it is an object that maps keys to the values, and at the same time there is no duplicate key values. So at any given point of time, you should have only unique keys, right? And the map interface includes methods for the basic operations such as put, get, remove, contains key, contains value, size, and all. So it supports different methods which are used for performing certain operations on the collections, and as well as the bulk operations, as we have discussed in the sets, union, intersection, difference. Okay. Similarly, here also certain bulk operations are also be supported by the map, so that these map can be implemented by using three different classes. One is hash map, tree map, and linked hash map. Okay, these three we will see in with the examples also. Right. So as we have discussed in the last class, depends upon your requirement, you can choose any one of the implementation mechanism. That means either you can implement the map by using hash map, or tree map, or linked hash map. So if you are not bothered about ordering and all, you can go with the hash map because it is more efficient than remaining. Okay. If you are interested in partial ordering, then
ఈ రోజు నువ్వు రాత్రి అవగొట్టడం మూలంగా తగ్గింది 1 GB అయింది. డాడీ వాళ్ళ
is it visible or not? Any one of you is visible to you? Okay, done. So depends upon your requirement, you can choose either hash map, tree map, or linked hash map. Of course, we will see three implementations of, map will be implemented with these three classes. We'll see very soon how it works and all with the help of an example. Now, what is the need of, or when we are supposed to use the maps? Maps are perfect to use for key value associations mapping such as dictionaries. Dictionaries. You can observe that whenever if you want to look for a word in the dictionary, always we'll try to find out the starting alphabet, whether it is A or B or C of the word which you want to search. So what we did, directly we'll go to the page where it starts with the starting alphabet. So that means there the starting alphabet will act as a key for it. Okay. So in the similar way, there are so many other areas where we are using this map application, right? And another important area, the maps are used to perform lookups by keys or when someone wants to retrieve and update elements by keys. Okay, so here I was given some of the examples where these maps are supposed to be used. A map of zip codes and cities. So as you all know, every place in India will have only one unique pin code. Say for example, your village is having a unique pin code, which is not, there is no duplication in it, right? So in this, if you know the pin code, you are able to retrieve your place area, right? If you are maintaining the database of the pin codes, okay, with that you'll try to, you're able to retrieve the name of your place. So like that, and error codes and their description. Suppose you might have observed that error 404 could not be loaded, something like that. It was code, you are able to get the description of. Like that, we'll use the key value associations or key value mappings in this map interface, right? A map of classes and student, right? You are all belongs to the 4th year, section 1. 4th year, section 1. You all students are belongs to that key, right? Total 93 members are belongs to the 4th year, section 1, right? So these are some of the examples we are supposed to use the map interface. Okay. Now, yeah. So the map interface present in java.util utility package represents a mapping between a key and value. So the map interface is not a subtype of the collection interface. It is not a subtype of the collection interface. You can check the diagram. You can check. You did not found anywhere map in this diagram. This is the hierarchy of collection framework of Java. Okay. Nowhere you are able to find out the map. You are able to find set interface, but no map interface is present here because it is not a subtype or even it is not a particular one of this particular hierarchy, right? So, but it is also used to represent the collection, group of keys and values, right? So for that reason, why we need to discuss here itself. Therefore, it behaves a bit because it is not a part of the collections framework. So that is the reason it behaves something a little bit different when compared with the other interfaces in the collection, right? So now this is the map hierarchy. You can see this diagram, map hierarchy. So linked hash map extends the hash map because it follows the hash mapping mechanism, key value mechanism. But what is the difference? In the linked hash map, it follows the insertion order in the map interface, right? So this also, the hash map is also implements the map interface, right? Similarly, sorted map, tree map implements the sorted map, then it extends the map interface. So these are the hierarchy in the Java class. You can see, you're able to understand after executing a simple program which implements the map interface. Don't worry about it. We'll look at implementations, tree implementation, hash map implementation, and linked hash map implementation, and you are able to observe the difference between the outputs which they are produced, so that you may get some clear idea about these hierarchy of the classes, right? Next, the methods of map, as the way other collection interfaces are having methods, similarly it is also various methods, right? In that, the first one is put method. So simply it inserts the association of a key K and the value V. You just remember here the K stands for key and V stands for value, Okay. If the key is already present, the new value replaces the old value. That means whenever if you want to update a value which is already present in the collection, what we have to do, whether we need to create a new key value pair or we need to modify the old value. So whenever if you perform updation, you are supposed to modify the old value, but you don't change the key, so that the value of this your particular key is going to be updated. So the put method is used for either creating a new one, new pair, or for updation also. It depends. Okay, right. So if there is no entry for the k value, new pair will be created. Otherwise, if it exists, as I told you, there is no possibility of duplication of keys. So it always maintains unique keys. So that is the reason. If you enter a duplicate key, what happens in that case? So simply it overrides the previous value with the present value. So like put all. It is used to insert all the entries from a specified map to this map, as we have seen in linked list application, where we'll add list 1 dot add all of list 2. What happens in that case? All the elements which are present in the list 2 are going to be appended at the end of list 1. So in a similar way here also, the put all method will add all the entries of a specified list to this particular list. Correct? Put if absent k comma v. Insert the association if the k is not already associated with the value v. Okay? So which is similar to the put kv method. And get k. So it returns the value associated with the specified key k. If the k is not found, it returns null value. Right? So by using k, we'll try to get the key value. Right? Get our default. We'll see all these methods. Replace is just like remove, contains, it is search for the key value, and you have another method for searching for a value also, key and value. Here important method is get our default values, default arguments. You might have heard about default arguments. So what happens in that case? If you supply the value for your argument, it will be placed. If you did not supply any value, or if you don't want to supply any value, so in that case also, if you want to keep maintaining a value for your argument, in that case we'll use the default argument mechanism. So in that case, in this case, what happens? If you supply a value, that value will be stored for this k. If you did not supply anything, whatever the default value that you have specified, that will be stored into the, that will be associated with the key value, right? And contains is for searching, replace is for just simply replaces the old value with the new value, removal for deletion, and key set, value set. Return set of all the keys present in it, and value set, it represents the all the values which are present in the map itself. Entry set, it returns a set of all the key value mappings present in the map. Just simply it returns the entire set or an entire collection, right? So these are the some of the methods which are available at a map interface. Now let us see the implementation part of this mapper interface. So here it is an example program which is meant for counting the distinct words in a given sentence, and even it also displays the number of occurrences of the word in a given sentence. Okay, so this is the program meant for it. First you look at the output, then you can understand. So here, this is the input given by me. Welcome to BDA class of section 1 students. So what output displayed is 7 distinct words. In this, how many words are present actually? Welcome is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Among the 8, 7 words are distinct. That means they are different. Only 2 words are same. That is BDA. So that is the reason here it was displayed. The count, how many number of times it was repeated. The frequency, that is what we are calling it as a frequency of the word. Right? Remaining all of them are 1. For example, if I type some other 2, for example. 8 plus 4, 12 words totally. Among 12, again you will found 8 distinct words only, because 2 is repeated 4 times as I was entered. This is the first time the word 2 is present in the statement, and at last I was added 4 2s, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so distinct words. So it is a case sensitive. So that is the reason capital TO is displayed as 1, small TO is displayed as 4, right? Suppose if I change it to the small value, so that you will find 2 will be repeated at, check it out now also. Oh, sorry. Now is it visible? Is it visible or not? My screen is visible or not? Okay, okay, sorry. So now, in the previous case, here it was capital TO. So that is the reason. Once again, I will repeat the same. So here, instead of small letters, if I type capital letters, so TO2, capital 2 was 1 time, and small t was repeated at 4 times. You can check. 1, 2, 3, 4. So total 4 elements. So here the 2 was repeated 4 times, whereas capital TO, this was repeated 1 time. So what we observed from this output is, so simply it reads the input given by you, and it try to find out how many words are different one with another. That is called as distinct words. It displays the count of the distinct words as well as how many number of times or the frequency of the words are also be displayed. So for that, I wrote the program here. So here the map string comma integer, it is a way of defining generics. Very soon we will discuss about generic classes and generic methods. Okay. So until then, you just remember that this is a way of defining generics. Okay. So here, as you know, map is an interface. So for that, you cannot directly instantiate the object. So with the help of another class, we'll try to implement it. So for that reason, here I'm using the hash map class for implementing map object. Right. So here string A args in the sense command line arguments, where you can supply. So you can check here as command line arguments. In the command line arguments, I was given the statement as welcome to BDA class of section 1 students 2. Okay. So this is the arguments which I was supplied through command line arguments. From that, it reads the first element. That means first it reads the welcome. Integer frequency is equals to So what is the value that is going to be assigned? M dot get A. What is M? It is a map. Right? What is the functionality of get A? Get key. Once again, I will show you. You can see the method get k. It returns the value associated with the specified key k. Right? It returns the value associated with the specified key. It returns simply value. If the key is not found, it returns the null value. Okay? Right. So here it gets the value which is associated to the key. M dot put A of, if the frequency is equals to null. When it will become null? As I told you, the get method returns null if the value is not present in it. Initially,
initially there is no word is present in that. That's why initially the frequency is null. Right? If it is null, one will be assigned to this one. Otherwise, it just simply increases the frequency value. For example, initially the frequency of the word welcome is 0. So that is the reason it was added 1 to that. For example, in the case of this particular one, 2. Okay, initially it is 1. Now when it reads this particular word, it becomes 2. And after that it becomes 3. After that it becomes 4. So it was incremented by using this particular one. Okay, ternary operator. So initially its frequency is null. Later onwards, if the same word is repeated in your given sentence, it is going to be incremented. The frequency value is going to be incremented. Frequency value in the sense the count. The count. Like this, it is going to be incremented. So here we just simply, it is nothing else. Simply value phase, how it is going to be done with the help of this hash map set. You can observe. Now let us see the implementation of the same program, tree set and linked hash set with different example. I'll show you. So which is also a similar example with different values. Why I'm choosing this example is I just want to show you the difference, what way the ordering is going to be occurred when we are implementing the map interface with the help of hash map, tree map or linked hash map. So that is the reason I was choosing this particular separate example. Right now here you can try to understand. I was placing 3 values. One is Vishal 10. For this, it is a string. That means it is a value and it is a key. Okay. Let us assume that this integer value as key. Not assumption. It is a key and it is a value. Right. M dot put Sachin comma 30. This is another value is going to be inserted. Like that, I have inserted 3 values. Right. Now, what I did is simply I'll try to print those values. Nothing else. These statements are meant for displaying those values. Okay. Yeah. So here you can observe that first one which I was enter into the map interface is Vishal 10. But here you observe the output. The first one element is Vaibhav 20. That means it was changed. Randomly it was printed. It will not follow any order. As I told you, just simply your responsibility is or your requirement is only just assigning or associating a key to the value. We will go with the hash map. The performance point of view, which is better than remaining all, because they need to perform. Remaining 2 implementations, they have some additional responsibility of keeping the elements in a sorted order. So that is the reason. Definitely it takes some time, even though if you enter 3 elements or 2 elements into your map collection. Okay, so in that case also it requires some time. So that is the reason efficiency, how it becomes efficient one is it need not bother about, or it does not bother about the ordering process. Simply it just the job of this implementation is just simply it associates the key value to the value. Okay, so that is the reason you may get output in a different orderings, 20, 10, 30. There is no specific ordering. When first initially it displays 20, After that, it was displayed. Because, say for example, if you assume that from last we will try to win. In that case, what you are supposed to get 20, 30, 10 actually we are getting. Suppose if it was printed from the last. But it does not happen here itself. 20 followed by 10. 10, this is the element which I was entered as a first one. So it does not follow any order. Right? If I change this hash map to linked hash map, for example. Linked hash map, the elements are ordered based on the insertion. That means whatever the order that they arrive, whatever the order that they store in the map, the same order it will be printed. Let us see whether it is correct or not. Up to now, when we are using hash map, we are getting the key values are in the order 20, 10, 30. 20, 10, 30. Now let us see what happens if we use linked hash map, whether the order is changed or not. 20, 10, 30 is our previous order. Now it is 10, 30, 20. 20, 10, 30 is the previous order. Now it is 10, 30, 20. That means whatever the order that the elements are entered, in the same order it was displayed. As I told you, it follows the insertion order. Whatever the way that they enter into the collection, the same order it will be printed. Whereas if you change this to the tree map, so in the tree map, it follows the binary search mechanism tree structure. So where the right child is greater than the root and the left child is less than the root. Okay? And now let us see it was printed in that order also. Right, root, left. Because that is the highest one. Now you can observe 30, 20, 10. So 30 is the right child, 20 is the root, and 10 is the left child. It follows the binary search mechanism. So in this way, you can order the elements in the collection. Okay. So if your requirement is you're supposed to implement the order, then we look at the linked hash map and as well as tree hash map representations. So this is about implementations of maps. Of course, we have some other programs are also be there. I'll share the document with you. You please try the remaining experiments at home. Okay. Now let us enter into the class, not Vapor class. We'll go to the generics first. After that, we'll come back. Is it visible? My screen is visible to everyone or not? Any one of you? Make it fast. Is it visible to you or not? Say yes or no. Any one of you? Okay. All right. Now let us talk about the generics. Generics. How to develop most generalized applications in Java. All right. Now let us think about the situation where we are supposed to implement the generics. For example, if you develop a function for adding two integer values, you want to develop a function. Now, just simply I wrote it here. A text document. Usually, what we are supposed to write? you need to specify the return type followed by add, and this is the program meant for addition of two integer numbers. For that reason, I need to define a comma int b followed by open bracket, simply wrote the statement return a plus b. So, say for example, this is the code. This is the code meant for adding the code for addition of two integer numbers, right? Suppose if you want to change it to the addition of two double values, what we have to do? You need to specify, we need to modify the return type as well as the parameter types also. Suppose if you want to change it to the adding of float values, what we have to do? You need to change the code. So it is very difficult for us each and every time when our requirement has changed. To change the entire code is a difficulty task. So that is the reason, if you have a provision like you are able to develop a simple application through which you can modify up to little bit. You may not implement all the future modifications with a single generic class or single generic method, right? Only the possible extent numbers where you are able to change only float and double values, right? If we are talking about characters, or it may be a group of characters only, right? That is the reason we cannot implement all the modifications, but you can define a mechanism through which you are able to handle only at least certain operations that we are modifying the code. How we are able to generate new functions is called as, not new functions. Without modifying the code, if you are able to develop a mechanism, okay, it is better for us. So that mechanism is called as generics. So, as the way you are all aware of that in the C++, you might have some experience of implementing templates. There also, we have implemented generic classes, generic methods with the help of templates. Here also, it is just similar to that. The concept is similar, and even some representations are also be similar. And here the idea is it allows the type integer, string, etc. and user defined data types to be a parameter to the methods, classes, and interfaces. You might have doubts, sir. Previously also we have the similar kind of data types are allowed as a parameters. Yes. But here, there we will define only, well in advance we have defined the method and even we'll fix the data type, but now it is not. If you want to change, you can change it. Of course, we will see in the examples what way we can implement this. Right? For example, classes like hash set, array, these all are array list is only performing operations on object, not on the data type. So in that case, what we have to do? So there we will try to implement these generics to perform certain operations. So this is the syntax for defining our instance for an generic class. Here the type, the data type which you are going to be specified, this object is of holds that type of data. Suppose if you specify it is an integer, so this object holds the integer data. Suppose if you specify it as a string, this object is going to hold the string values. Like that, whatever the type that you have specified, so according to that, it holds the value. Right? Now here are some of the individual alphabets that represents the number. Okay? T stands for type, E stands for element, K stands for key, N stands for number, and V stands for value. Very soon we will use all these type parameters. Right now, what is the use of using generics? What is the advantage of using generics? So first and foremost advantage is code reuse. That means once you develop the code, the same can be used for different purposes. Different purpose in the sense, different for different parameters also, you can use the same code without any modifications. And type safety. So here, as in C or C++, even in Java, up to now what we did is, whenever if you want to convert from one type to another type, we are supposed to be cast it. The process of converting one data type to another data type is called as typecasting. So for avoiding certain problems, always we'll try to cast the, or we'll try to convert the one data type to another data type very carefully. Now you don't have that type of worry. Okay? You don't have that type of problem. Directly, compiler will take care of casting your data types, because as I told you, each and every time when you are changing your data types, okay, converting one type to another type, it becomes a headache, because each and every time converting one type to another type is a big task for you. So that is the reason the compiler will automatically take care of converting all these things. All right. So that is our type safety. And individual typecasting is not needed. As I told you, individually you may not convert each and every element in the array, and that need to be converted into like that. So the total typecasting responsibility will be taken care by the compiler itself, if you implement it as a generic way. So and implementing generic algorithms, right? So like generic medical shop where we'll find a single tablet for all kinds of pains. In a similar way, if you are able to develop a simple algorithm which can handle all the possibilities of certain issues, so it is a good advantage. It shows the path to develop in such a way. So that is about the advantages of generics. Now let us talk about the generic class, how to define the generic class and how to access it and what way we can implement it. These all things we will see now, right? So a generic class declaration, it looks very similar to the ordinary class. Here also you may find data members and as well as member functions. Except that the class name is followed by the type parameter section. The class name followed by the type, what type of data it is going to be hold, you need to be defined. That is only the difference between, you can observe here T, which is present in the angle brackets, T, class is not present. But whereas in the case of generic class, it should be present, right? This T, the T means type. Okay, here the item is of type whatever you have supplied. Suppose if you supply T value as integer, right? Now T also represents the item will become integer data type. Suppose if you supply T value as a string, now item value will become string data type. So here we did not perform any kind of typecasting, right? So simply we are passing the data type. That's it. Automatically the whole process will be taken care of by compiler itself. So that is the advantage of this generic. Okay. And now notice that use of generic types class in the main method. Okay. We don't need to do typecasting, and we can remove class cast exception at runtime. Class cast exception. If we are handling this conversion process manually, usually we will get the error message at the runtime is class cast exception. For example, if you define an array list for keeping string values, unfortunately, if you enter integer value as a member, what happens in this case? Anyway, the array list is accepted because it is also an object, right? That's why it was accepted. But during runtime, it is unable to process that integer value. So that is the reason there it generates an error message like cast exception message, right? And references to generic type, generic type should be parameterized. That means this should be present in the case of generic class or generic method. It should be mandatory. Okay, if you did not place it, what happens is system will take care of handling all these unfortunate forgetfulnesses, right? So that is it. And this is the example of generic class declaration, where you can observe that these are the types. Suppose if you want to add more data types, yes, you can. Suppose if you write t comma u, we'll see implementations. All right. So in that case, what happens? You need to write some other element here itself. So in that case, u is the another type, t is the type. So like that, whatever the number of times that you want to change, you can. That is depends upon your requirement, right? Now, so before going to discuss about generic methods, first let us see the example program on generic classes, what way we can declare and we can access. Next we will move to the generic methods. Yeah. So this is an example for implementing generic class. Now you can observe that class test class test t, t of object, here only one data item, that is obj, is of type t, and test t obj. So here it is a constructor. It is also an example of generic method because the parameter is of type generic type. So that is the reason the constructor is also called as generic method. Okay, and public t get object, return this dot object. So here I was used this t as a return type. Not only the parameter type, it will also be used as the return type also, so that the other object, the place where it is going to be assigned, will be converted according to this. Right? Suppose it returns an integer float double value, it will be assigned to integer. What happens in that case? It will be automatically changed to the integer value. In such a way, compiler will take care. Usually, you are supposed to cast it. You are supposed to cast it because it is your responsibility to convert the double value into integer value. Okay. Now here I was declared integer object for storing integer value. Here I have stored 15 as the value, and string object, S object stands for string object, I object stands for integer object. In this case, I was supplied welcome to Sir CRR COE as an input. Okay, this is a string which I was supplied. So both the cases, the second lines are meant for displaying those values. In this case, what we are expecting, it is supposed to display 15 followed by welcome to Sir CRR COE, because this time we are passing integer value for the test class, test integer. Okay, all of you observe this pointer. Similarly, test string S object. Here I was passing string as an type. So let us see how it produces the output. Now all of you observe this output 15. Welcome to Sir CRR COE. So in this case, the same class and same methods without any modifications, just simply by changing the type. By changing the data type, the same class can be used, the same methods can be used for representing integer values as well as string values, right? That is called as generic class. That is called as generic class. Now, we'll see one more implementation. Yeah, multiple parameters. I'll share this document rather than execution. All of you observe this screen. Here I'm passing two, I'm saying here two parameters. So one is here in the class test contains two objects. One is object 1 and another one is object 2. Object 1 is of type T, whereas object 2 is of type U. So this is the constructor for initializing those. So this dot object 1 is equals to object 1, and now whatever the order that you have, that you are going to supply. For example, this is the way we are creating object to the test class. During the creation of that object, we have supplied the first parameter as string. So that's why this string will be assigned to T. Okay, and next one is integer. This one will be assigned to U. Okay, so the first object is of type string and second is object of type integer. So you are supposed to supply in the same order. So CRR CSE is the string and 15 is the event. So if you execute the program, you will get the same output. So here nothing else, just instead of writing two different mechanisms, the two will be implemented in a single class itself. So what I mean to say is, it is possible to pass any, it is possible to specify any number of type parameters in the along with the class, but you need to separate one with another with the commas. So this is about generic classes. Now let us move to the generic methods. The generic class here also, the methods you can implement in a most generic way, where simple code, single code can be used for different types of arguments also. All right. So these are the certain rules that you are supposed to follow while implementing generic methods. So all the generic method declarations have a type parameter section. That means the angle bracket should be present in the method declaration itself. Okay. Each type parameter section contains one or more type parameters separated by commas, as I told you very recently. Okay, so you can, there is no limitation for it. Any number of type parameters you can specify. Right? The type parameters can be used to declare the return type. As already I shown you how it returns the type parameter as a return value T in the previous example. So a generic methods body is declared like that of any other method. Note that type parameter can represent only reference types, not primitive types like int, double, and character. Right? They are all reference types like integer, character, string. Okay, we will see very soon. We will see why we need to be converted it into reference type while discussing about the wrapper classes in the next class. Okay, so this is about generic methods. We will see some example, one example program in the generic method, and I'll close the session. So all of you observe this. Here I was created three different arrays. One is integer array, another one is float array, double array, and the third one is character array. You can observe here itself. Integer array, double array, and character. Three arrays which was declared and initialized with values. Now here in the class, it is a normal class. Okay. Here I was defined a generic method. Print static E void print array of E type. Okay, so here E is the element. E is the element. As we have seen in the slides, E represents a element. So this program is meant for displaying the elements in the given array only. So here our concept is we have declared 3 different arrays. Each and every time when we are when you forwarding this particular array to this particular definition, whether how it going to be displayed, that is only the important case here itself, right? Print array of int array. In this case, I am passing integer array as an argument. So what I am expecting, I want to display all the elements which are present in the int array with the help of this print array method. With the help of this print array method. Similarly, double array. In this case, I am passing double values. Last character. In this case, I am passing character value. So for all these types of values, I wrote a single definition for the display of the array elements. So with this same code, I am able to display the integer array, I am able to display the double array, I am able to display the character array without modifying even single line. Let us check it out. So now you can observe array integer contains, this is the elements of integer array, and these are the elements of double array, and these are the elements of character array. So now you can observe what way we can use this defining of generic methods and generic classes for implementation and all. Okay, so in such a way you can develop generic classes and generic methods so that you can pass type parameters as an argument, and you can use it for the multiple data types. Okay, so that is about generic methods. So in the next class we will see the wrapper classes and the synchronization. Okay, any queries? So now I'll close the session. Before that, if you have any queries, you can ask any one of you. Otherwise, I will end the session if you don't have any queries. Anybody? Any query? Any doubt? No doubt. Shall I close the session? Okay. Thank you. We'll discuss the remaining things in the next class. Okay.